What up, doe? We've got a huge show lined up tonight. Exclusive news, big updates, and a few surprises you definitely want to stick around for. It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Dubs Arcade Love, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Friday night, and for some, Saturday morning, just got live.
What up, everybody? Happy Friday. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to the Friday Funhouse, the Super Game Room Dudes, your favorite and longest-running arcade podcast, or I should say home arcade podcast. I'm your host, P-Dubs, as always. With me are my co-hosts, Mikey Two Pins, Michael B. the Game Genie, Detroit Love, Nostalgia, and we have a big special guest. Tonight's episode is a sponsored episode. That's right. Big shout-out to our sponsors here. We have Quarter Arcades in the house. We got Ben and Matt. We've had them on before. It's always nice having you guys come on like once a year with this State of the Union, and got a pretty good show planned for tonight, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, good stuff here. Mike, are you excited about the Bad Dudes conversation tonight?
Oh, you know I'm excited for Bad Dudes, P-Dubs. I've been told, though, we're not allowed to have any banter tonight. Tonight has to be a straightforward show. That came from Nostalgia, so I'll try not to banter too much about it.
Yeah, according to our DMs, Nostalgia said, I don't care what happens tonight, just make sure I look good. That's what he wrote in our chat. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
These guys need to know I'm a serious businessman.
That's right.
Yeah. We got a number of topics here tonight for you guys. We're going to give you an update on Robocop and Ghostbusters. We're also going to talk about the tariffs and the pricing and the challenges and what Quarter Arcades has done to navigate some of those challenges and alleviate their pricing for the end of 2025 and moving into 2026. As well as we're going to give you an update on the Bad Dudes Lunar Lander launch. Then we have a surprise. Then we have a surprise. Then we have a mega surprise. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars, Simpsons, and Nintendo. You might want to stick around for that conversation. And, of course, the Arcade Decades book that's on Kickstarter. So we have a lot of great topics here for you guys tonight. Ben, are you excited to be on the show? What time is it over there where you guys are?
I know, 2 o'clock.
2 a.m.
Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. Saturday morning for us.
Man, that's early. That's early. I don't know.
4 o'clock.
Go ahead, Mike.
We were going to do this earlier, but Nostalgia insisted we go live at 10:30 our time. He said that you were up for it. I don't know what his problem is, but
It's just how we do things here. We don't change the rules for anybody.
All right, guys.
And the crazy thing was, Ben came on and he was like, Ben, it's so good to see you. Then he gave Matt the cold shoulder. He's like, I don't even know who you are, buddy. That was unnecessary.
That's not quite how it went, but it was close. It was close.
It was, yeah. He remembered Ben. He didn't remember me. I don't know what that says about me, but
It probably says a lot more about me than it says about you. I can assure you.
This show's going to be gone with the wind length. Well, we're going to try and get through it as soon as possible in respect for the time zone that Matt and Ben are in right now. We'll try and get through these topics, get you the information, get you out the door, all that kinds of stuff. Carl, you got some of your Quarter Arcades behind you, don't you?
Yeah, I have my Pac-Man. I also have the Space Invaders, but Pac-Man is my favorite. I dropped it. It's got a little boo boo, but it
Oh
still
no.
works just as fine. A good thing it's made out of wood. I can repair the top, but it's a very sturdy thing. I dropped it off my iArcade, I believe it was. I forgot it was sitting up there and went to move it. It's like, oh my goodness, onto cement.
Yeah, I'm excited that in my new arcade room that I just finally finished setting up, I got this new puzzle-shaped shelf, and I have all my quarter arcades and even the New Wave Toys replicates all on that shelf, and it looks so cool. It looks really, really nice, and I'm pretty excited about it. Go ahead, Mike.
I have my New Wave Toys machines there. I have my quarter arcades on the other side of the room in constant opposition, fighting with each other. So I feel that's how they should be presented.
Yeah. Looks like we got a $2 super chat from Steps Dew. I need a Mountain Dew vending machine. That's one for your suggestion box. Thanks so much for the super chat, boys, for quarter arcades. Speaking of which, you did 7-Up and Pepsi. Just real quick, I hate to digress. I know we have this big show planned tonight, but any chance of more of those coming?
Yeah, so we've been talking to Coca-Cola about doing one of them. PepsiCo owns Mountain Dew, and they're keen for us to do a Mountain Dew version. So it's not on the roadmap as yet because we've got other USB hub products to come, unannounced as yet, but it is available, so it will come at some point.
Oh, okay, there you go.
You guys remember Jolt Cola? Is that something that was prominent over there?
Jolt.
Jolt Cola. Oh,
I
my
definitely
God,
remember Jolt.
We had Tab was one that we had in the UK from America that was like sugar-free drink that had about a year's shelf life.
Jolt was the opposite of that. It was all sugar.
It was like Monster. No, it was like Red Bull before Red Bull came out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never heard of Jolt.
Well, guys, we want to get into these topics. We got some great topics here for you tonight. First off, we're going to provide you an update on RoboCop and Ghostbusters. And Ben or Matt, whichever one of you are feeling froggy, take it away. And you can also kind of talk about why we have a picture of a Bad Dudes cabinet on here next to this RoboCop. Go ahead, my friends.
Yeah, so there's no substantial update to share as yet, unfortunately. As a polite reminder, so Ghostbusters, there's 4 stakeholders. We have an agreement with all 4. One of the stakeholders asked us to pause whilst there were some internal discussions going on around that, and that hasn't progressed, unfortunately. So we've not done any work behind the scenes on Ghostbusters as yet. So that is going to be at least 2 years away once we get going with that one. So we are hopeful to get going at some point in 2026. Robocop's slightly further forward. We had another conversation. So as a polite reminder, there's 2 stakeholders in Robocop. D4 Enterprise own the video game rights. They purchased that from Data East some time ago. So we have a contract. We've paid the money for that one. And then the spanner in the works was Amazon purchased MGM. So Amazon wanted to look at the rights and how far it goes back, and do they actually own the Orion Pictures and all of this stuff. We had a phone call with them last Wednesday, so it seems like that could progress quite quickly. But it's worth noting that when we pick the cabs that we want to do, tooling is so expensive. So we spend anywhere between $100,000 and $120,000 on tooling a cab. So it makes economic sense to try and pick cabinets that share sort of multiple games. So if you recall, we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that shares exactly the same cab as Turtles in Time, Sunset Riders, and The Simpsons. So the development for that cab's already done, so we can in the future release those cabs fairly economically and bring them to market quicker. So with that in mind, we've done Bad Dudes, and it shares the same cab as Robocop, as you can see here on screen. So Robocop development, we've got the ROM, we've got the artwork, we're ready to go. And that, when we get the final green light from Amazon, that will come out of the gate pretty quick. So yeah, when we do a cabinet, we try and pick cabinets that share the same tooling on multiple ones. It's probably worth bearing that in mind when you think around the cabinets that we have released and are going to release, that we always pick ones that are similar.
That's great. So that'll also help you kind of get through the development process and get that released quicker, right? Because you're not starting from scratch on RoboCop, because the Bad Dudes Arcade is the same cabinet shape, same mold. That's pretty awesome. Nostalgia, what are your thoughts on that, buddy?
No, I think it's a good plan, and I like to hear that. I mean, it's logical and it makes total sense. So no, definitely that's great. I'm hopeful you guys get the Green Line on RoboCop soon, because I think a lot of people are eager to get those that one kind of shipped to them and get their hands on it.
Yeah, we're not the only ones in the mix, actually. So some of the other arcade players in the market, who obviously you know who they are, they've also got offers on the table for Robocop. So
wow!
So you could see Robocop on other arcade manufacturers' roadmap very soon too.
Do you want us to sabotage them? Yes. All right, we're on it.
Good stuff here, Matt. Anything you want to add about this adventure with RoboCop and Ghostbusters?
No, the one thing we try and do is we're saying about reducing costs. It's about we can then split the tooling across several machines, which helps hopefully helps us bring them out at a reasonable price, and I think that's what it's about, rather than us being. It's not just us being lazy from a design point of view. It's trying to. These machines are really expensive to make and tool, so that's why we do it more than anything. It is a case of, okay, with 120,000 tooling, if we can put that across 3 or 4 machines, it helps us lower that retail price for the consumer. So that's our reason for doing it. I know, although my design team love it when we use the same cab, because it makes life a lot easier as well. But
it helped us get the Namco ones out quickly, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah.
So Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, I forget which one's which shares the cabinet.
Yeah,
and then
Pac-Man and
Galaxian
was the same, and then Miss Pac-Man and Galaga, the sequels, both use the same cab, slightly different fins, but yeah.
Burger Time is just slightly different, right?
Different, yeah.
Yes,
it's just the wings.
Yes, different fins, but kind of the same kind of layout. So doing that really does help with speed and production costs. So as much as we can do that, it does make sense. But yeah, we can get them out faster, which is really good.
Hey guys, so Ghostbusters obviously is a fan favorite. You know, once you get past the hurdles that you talked about, what does the timing look like for that once you get over that hurdle?
Yeah, Ghostbusters is slightly different because it has that. It's exactly the same cab, apart from it has that huge control panel. It's a free-player game, Madness. It was a really crazy one to do, but that's not too bad because we've got all the mechanics. So it would be a different bit of tooling for the control panel, but much quicker than starting from scratch, sort of thing. So from a design point of view, it's very quick, and then it's just going into production and prototype, T1 sample, T2 sample. So it's still not quick, but much quicker than because we 3D scan all the cabinets. We go to famous arcade in Manchester, the Arcade Club, and they allow us to 3D scan everything. So that's how we start. So everything's done from a 3D scan. So it's really accurate from there. But once we've got that cab, we can use that cab, and a lot of it's changing artwork more than anything.
I think the cool. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. We also some of the technology. So, as you know, the Space Invaders with the Ghost Pepper effect, that caused us sort of 4 years of pain. But now we've got that technology within our factory and our design team. It allows us to do other arcades that use similar technology, which I'm sure we'll talk about a bit later on.
I think the cool thing to take away from what you're talking about here, the community always loves to speculate and guess what cabs could be coming up in the future. So the fun thing is, if they see something from you and then they see a sister arcade that can fit in the same machine, they can do, that 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess what other arcades are coming in the future, right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, we got a lot of topics to get through. I got a couple of great questions that I've pinned here in the chat for you guys. So if you guys want to answer these however you want, as quickly as you want, that way we can get on to the next topic. 720 Eric wants to know, do you guys have a relationship with Williams? He'd love to see Narc. Any quick answer on that?
Williams is now Warner Brothers. Is that right?
That's correct.
Machines. We have a relationship with Warner Brothers. We make quite a few products with for Warner Brothers, especially with our ducks and everything else that we make. But we're in. Well, Ben's in discussion. Ben does this bit. I do the design. Ben does the grown-up stuff. But I think Ben's we're having discussions with Warner Brothers. We've been doing it for quite a while, haven't we?
We've put a massive offer on the table for all of the Midway cabinets, Mortal Kombat, Paperboy, Beer Tapper,
nice,
etc.
Robotron.
Can you imagine a Paperboy with the actual handle? That'd be a challenge. That'd be fun to see.
It'd be a challenge, but wouldn't it be amazing?
Yep.
All right, we got another.
He said the magic word there, P-Dubs, and then you cut it off for Paperboy. You said Robotron, and that makes me a very happy boy. That's a special.
They didn't say Smash TV. They didn't say.
It's got to be in everyone's top 10.
Robotron. It should 100%.
Yeah. If it's not, then you're wrong.
That's right.
Let's do a couple more questions. We have the best live chat in home arcade. Thanks so much, guys. Keep them coming. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can, but keep in mind, guys, we got a ton of information we want to give you guys tonight. Vex Sentinel, he wants to kind of dive into your personal privacy. No, I'm just kidding. Is there a minimum order quantity of 3,000 units like a lot of the other companies do in this space for you guys to consider manufacturing and moving forward with the product? Anything you want to add to that or answer? You could say we're no comment if you want.
No, 3,000 is the magic number. That's when it becomes economically viable to bring the arcade to market. Anything less than that, you are not making any money on. But our minimum order quantity with our factory, we're on our third factory now for Quarter Arcades. Is 1,000 units is the minimum. But they will not get out of bed and put a production line on for anything less than 1,000 units. But the cost is significantly higher for us to manufacture 1,000 units because there's a lot of wastage.
Good,
because of the wood.
Yeah, the wood's the biggest problem with everything. I think we've touched this before, but people don't manufacture in wood anymore. It's a dying art. So when we have to find a reliable wood factory to make the arcade shells, and the rejection rate on wood is massive. So I think for every 10 that they make, they reject 3 or 4. It goes straight in the bin, but you have to pay for those 3 or 4.
Yeah. Now, Nooner and Matt Astra, you guys asked some fantastic questions in the chat here. I'm going to get to Matt Astra. Nooner, we're going to save yours for a little bit later in the show. Matt Astra, if you guys ever thought about doing something truly unique like a 720, have you guys ever thought about going the Kickstarter route? Because you guys usually never go the Kickstarter route. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, 720, it's an amazing cab. Big. It was very deep, wasn't it, 720? We've done Kickstarter once, and that was because, and again, this was my fault, when we did the USB hub for Polybius. Because I said, we're going to make a USB hub, and, people had done them in different forms. And I said, well, we've got to do Polybius. And if you don't know Polybius, it sounds like the most insane thing that you could ever do. So we did it as a Kickstarter for that reason, to say, is it just me, or does anyone else really remember Polybius? And it did really well for us. Completely sold out. It's one of the most asked for, especially when we go to shows. People will ask, are you going to redo Polybius? Is the one we get asked all the time. So that did really well. So I think we would definitely look at it again with Kickstarter, especially if it is a little bit wild as an idea and less of a gamble, sort of.
Wild versus gamble. I like that.
Yeah. So we'd definitely. We'd never rule out Kickstarter. I think it's a great marketing tool as well to be able to get.
So you guys don't have a problem recreating things you've done in the past. I mean, that's if it makes sense from a market standpoint.
Yeah. No. If the demand's there, then if we bring anything out again, then yes, we might try and change it slightly or upgrade it slightly or do something different from the first one, because as a collector you've got to make it different. But yeah, if the demand's there, then yeah, we would definitely look at products we've done in the past and look at a new way of bringing them out again in a different form.
I'm just going to get down to brass tacks. Detroit Love's not asking you his direct question. He's dinged up his Pac-Man. Can he buy another one in the future?
I can sort you out. If it was nostalgia, I wouldn't have done it.
He would have said, "Suck it, nostalgia."
I'll give you my personal number.
Man, and you know what?
Anytime.
I was just gonna say you're starting to flood, like the memories are starting to flood back, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
All right, guys, we gotta move on here. We gotta keep this thing moving. P-Dubs is on fire tonight. Want to make sure we get you in and out as soon as we can. U.S. tariffs impact, topic number 2. Now, keep in mind, this is probably going to be the most non-exciting part of tonight's broadcast. However, it's great information. It's great information. After this, we're going to be showing you guys, we got new machines to show you. We got all kinds of crazy stuff coming up next. So let's get through this discussion. Do us a favor. Ben or Grant, take it away. You guys want to talk about what the heck is going on with the pricing in home arcade? Please don't change the slides. Thank you. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so as everyone's aware, President Trump imposed tariffs on every trading country around the world on manufactured goods entering the US market. We manufacture our corner arcades in China. So there's been massive uncertainty around what the import tariff charges would be when we were ready to ship the goods. As you recall, they jumped to 145% duties at one point, which simply stopped any goods leaving China. Everything just came to a standstill at that point. So whilst the volatility and uncertainty around tariffs was happening, we didn't feel it was right to launch a pre-order campaign and take anyone's money. However, it didn't stop us behind the scenes continuing development, tooling, and manufacturing, which will show you what we've been up to behind the scenes shortly. We've got lots of new exciting products to announce. We've simply not stopped. We just paused pre-orders. As things stood, US customers were liable for the 30% import duties as we ship our products from the UK. So US customers, when the corner arcades hit your country, the customer would have to pay 30% import duties, which would result in a $389 price on our corner arcades, plus the shipping from the UK, which was around $54 to $90. Now, we felt this was too far high of a price for anyone in the US to pay, so we didn't launch our pre-orders, and instead we sort of carried on behind the scenes and waited to see what happened with the tariffs. And we wanted to come up with a solution to try and reduce the tariff and freight impact on our US customers. So if you can go to the next slide.
Yep, and fire away.
Yeah, so what we did is, to get around this issue, we opened up a new warehouse in the US based in Apex, North Carolina, which I'm sure you can imagine is no small feat. What this means is that we can pay the 30% import duties on our manufacture price. Thus, it lowers the duties from $90 down to $50. And I'm really pleased to say that the warehouse is up and running and it's fully functional in record-breaking time. Next slide.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
So, yeah, it means that we can also now offer reduced shipping charges. So previously on the left-hand side, you can see we were shipping from the UK, so to New York, Los Angeles or Dallas. Our customers were paying anywhere between $54 and $90, which is just insane. It's a lot of money to ask. But now we've got a US warehouse, we employ US staff. It's significantly cheaper. So quick rule of thumb, if you're in the New York area, you're now going to pay between $25 and $40 shipping. And if you're in Los Angeles, it's obviously the other side of the country. So unfortunately, it's slightly higher at $45 to $60. And in the Dallas area, it's cheap. So that's sort of mid-central of the US, as you know. And that's $23 to $38. If you move on.
Yes, sir. Moving on to slide number 4. Go ahead.
So launch pricing. This has sort of only been announced, I think yesterday we announced this. So we've managed to keep the same pricing as before. So in the UK, it's the same as the Tato releases and the Data East ones, $219 in the UK, $249 in Europe, $349 in Canada, as I like to call it.
Canadian. What the hell is
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian.
A lot of people call it that.
Yeah. In Canada, it's $349. That's Canadian dollars. So on cornerarcades.com, you can now pay in Canadian dollars, whereas previously you had to pay in US dollars. So there's no import duties for Canadians. We're still shipping from the UK. It's actually cheaper to ship Corner Arcades from the UK to Canada than it is from USA to Canada, which blew my mind.
That's hilarious. Hilarious.
Blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. So I don't know what's going on with freight companies between US and Canada, but it's good news for Canadians. And in the US, it's $249.99, and obviously the $50 Trump imposed tariff.
I appreciate this, MG. Canada's now called USA Light. Very, 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 very funny. All right. Another slide?
Yep.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah. So Lunar Lander, again, we've managed to keep the same pricing. It's a lot more technical than the other machines because we've got the thruster, which is also analog, like the original. So truly,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. So same pricing as what we did with Space Invaders and Turtles. I won't read out the slide again, but Canadians can also pay in Canadian dollars, and it's $299 plus the $50 Trump tariff for our US friends. Next slide. So, quick summary. On the left, you'll see with the current state of the world, that's what our arcades would have cost US-based customers, anywhere between $443 to $479.
Wow.
And because of the hard work we've done behind the scenes to try and reduce the impact of the tariff and reduce freight, it's come down to, I think the most anyone will pay is between $372 and $409. So, yeah, worked really hard to do that. That's why we've been quiet. And not launch the pre-orders until tonight. But on top of that, we're also giving all pre-order customers an exclusive money can't buy pre-order widget, which we'll talk around next if you want to.
We are going to dive into that real quick here. Let me get this off the screen. So first off, I got a comment and a question. Number one, appreciate you guys doing what you can to keep the prices as low as possible for, customers who've been buying your products for years. That's pretty awesome. But the second question or the question I had is, why not just move everything to the US? I mean, we rock. Why not come over here? You guys like it over here. Come on, what do you think?
Well, we have actually opened an office in Los Angeles. So we did that in August. Me and Matt were in LA in September to open that office. And we've just opened up a warehouse in Apex, North Carolina. So we are expanding across the globe. Interestingly, we were in Boston in February and then Los Angeles in September. And we've noticed the price is in the US, the inflation, the cost of food, more importantly, the cost of beer. It's just insane. Coffee, everything. We were only sort of 6-7 months apart from our visit, but we've felt in our own pocket what you guys are living and breathing every single day. So rather than being able to have 4 or 5 beers, we can only have 1 or 2.
Yeah, don't come to Canada then.
I can ask you a personal
It's
question.
here.
Yeah, it is. What'd you guys think of Boston? Boston's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was amazed by Boston. I think of Boston as in like Goodwill Hunting and these sort of things. It's beautiful.
So nice.
Absolutely. It's stunning. We were there for a week, but we only managed, because we were doing the show, so we only managed 1 day in Boston. We also went to Cheers Bar.
Oh, yeah, you got to go to Cheers.
Tourist. The park, you've got the bench from Goodwill Hunting in the park and stuff, but I was blown away. It's so nice and clean.
Yeah. And what a dump LA is, right?
So what? Sorry?
What a dump LA is. California.
So, Ben, Matt, if you don't mind, I'd like to dive into further the Bad Dudes and Lunar Lander cabs. You guys actually have those physically to show off to folks, as well as a couple of the bonus, you're calling them widgets,
yes,
correct?
Is widget's not a universal name? Is that a very British thing to call it a widget?
I think it's a rigid thing. I think it's a
no,
British
anybody
thing.
who went through business school, like that is in every single textbook. Every factory makes widgets.
Yep. I was going to say, it's definitely a Canadian thing, that's for sure. So,
all right, guys. The Bad Dudes Lunar Lander launch is actually active today, right? It's live
Yeah.
today, guys. So
Right now.
let's take a look at Bad Dudes first, and then we're going to hop over to Lunar Lander.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Where'd everybody go? Let me, there you go. Go ahead, take it away, guys. I got some more stuff to put on the screen here while you're talking. You got
Cool.
you got the arcade to show off there, Mr.
Yeah,
Precious?
I've got one. I mean, Ben's got one behind him as well, but we've literally got one here. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I personally love Bad Dudes, and the reason probably being is, what was it, 1988 when Bad Dudes came out? So I was kind of my last couple of years at school, so it was one of the last arcade games I remember being at school. But the thing for me about Bad Dudes is if you had to have one arcade and said, give me the 80s, it's Bad Dudes. And it is just pure American 80s. It came out, I think they did it because I think in 87 there was Double Dragon, an amazing game. Love Double Dragon, but it was like, right, we're gonna beat Double Dragon, we're gonna put it on steroids and we're gonna make it America. I mean, it's insane. I think is it Strike and Blade? You play these bad dudes against the Dragon Ninjas, and you've got to save the president. I think it was themed off like Arnie and Stallone, like Commando and Rambo and Escape from New York. I mean, you've got to rescue President Ronnie, which is Ronald Reagan. And even at the point at the end, call it a spoiler alert, the game came out in 88. But if you do rescue President Ronnie at the end, he takes you out for burgers. I mean, it's the most 80s American machine you could possibly imagine. You know, if it was a car, it would be a DeLorean. It is nothing more 80s than Bad Dudes. And that's what I love about it. It's so over the top. You know, to get extra energy, you've got to drink energy drinks and everything like that. And it was just, and I think it was one of the first games to use digital speak as well. I think it said save President Ronnie or something at the beginning.
Bad.
So
I'm bad. That's
it's just, I mean, there's memes, isn't there, from Bad Dudes and everything. It's just one of those games. It's just so over the top. It is literally an Arnie Stallone movie. So I think because of that, 80s was the greatest decade ever. So I think that's why I love it the most. I think it just sums up the 80s in one cab. And I do love this curved marquee as well. They didn't. So Data East, they had stuff, and we've talked about like Ghostbusters and Robocop, and there was a few, I think, Heavy Barrel, and one that I love, Sly Spy. Does anyone remember that one? Which was basically a James Bond rip-off. I think if you got an extra life, you got a golden gun, and you had to fight Jaws and Oddjob. How they didn't get sued, I don't know, but it's just a great looking cab, and I think there's only a few years where they did this curved marquee in this cab, and there was a few games that used it, but I think it's one of those. It's a great game. It is the graphics on it for 88 just look fantastic, and
you're going to trigger P-dubs, Matt. Be careful. That's one of his complaints. He says the graphics haven't aged well.
Oh, I disagree. I think if you look at Double Dragon was 87.
Look, I promised I would be quiet during this segment. I promised I would be quiet. Everyone knows how I feel about Bad Dudes, but don't let me. Go ahead, Mike. You take this.
Oh yeah, and really quickly, Matt. Just back in the '80s, copyright law was funny. If you go back and take a look at some of Sega's arcade releases, like Shinobi, for example, like Spider-Man, Shinobi, right?
Yeah. Spider-Man was in Shinobi, and it was the Wild West.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it was an arcade of its age. But yeah, anyone who says the graphics haven't aged, I mean, come on. It was 12 months after Double Dragon. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's a lovely cab, and it's one of those. It's like all arcades. What I love about arcades is you remember the arcades that were in your arcade. Do you know what I mean? And everyone, it's like, if we brought out Donkey Kong tomorrow, someone will want Robotron, or the one Tubin, or the one. It's so personal to you, whatever you had in your arcade. And I think that's what it is. But yeah, I think Bad Dudes is really. There's certain games that don't hold up. But I think Bad Dudes still looks good.
Well,
you're wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay. Look, we all have our favorites, right? We all have our favorites.
We do, and that's
we
what
all
it
have our
makes it.
favorites.
And it's that emotion. It's what you remember playing.
Right.
And Bad Dudes was a real, yeah.
And in case if you don't really like Bad Dudes, there's a couple bonus items if you do place your pre-order, which Matt's going to show off here for you. And I got a little picture here. What is this?
Ooh. So, one of the things we wanted to do, so we wanted to put something in. So, as you guys are aware, last time we came on the show, which Nostalgia doesn't remember, I talked about, it's about the art and everything. That's what I love about the arcades. There's two things with arcades. One's the gameplay, and two's the artwork and everything that goes with it. So we wanted to, and I talked about the stuff we did, like the bins. I remember getting a lot of grief from my radiators, my fire extinguishers and stuff like that. But
I thought those were hilariously awesome myself.
They're fantastic. Hilarious. It's insane. We made radiators for quarter arcades. So the ideas was because people are building the sets now and having all these things on. So we brought out these. So this will come with the pre-orders, and we won't be selling them separately. This will be on the pre-orders. So the idea is, the picture looks better, but you get these lights and you stick it on, so you can have that artwork in your arcade as you would have in your arcades. Posters on the wall and everything. So we've used original artwork and got these, and you can stick them to your wall and put these up. So the idea is when we do the pre-orders for the people, for the fans that do put the money down first and always back us, we want a little bit of a thank you. And the idea is we'll do that, so it kind of helps with the it helps build that room. You can put it under your radiator, it'll be fine. So it'll be please note, radiator not included, sold separately. So yeah, we just thought it was a real nice thing to do and get some of the artwork out there, because some of the artwork was amazing. I absolutely love the artwork they put on this machine. So being able to do that, we thought was a really cool idea. So yeah, so you can see that. One thing to note to people, we have put on there batteries not included. It's not because we're cheap; it's because we need to fly these in. And to fly these in, we can't put the batteries in. The batteries are really cheap. I ordered a pack of 40 the other day on Amazon for about £5. But I just want to let people know the batteries aren't in there, just to make sure that just go on Amazon, order those batteries before they arrive. They're really cheap. But yeah, it was because we couldn't fly them into the country and get them in time for launch. So yeah, just to let you know.
Very, very cool. Any final thoughts on Bad Dudes before we show off Lunar Lander? We got the real thing in person here as well. Anyone else?
Bad Dudes is awesome. P-dubs, everything in your life is wrong. Jump on board the Bad Dudes train.
Go ahead, man. I'm joking.
It's probably worth mentioning that manufacture on Bad Dudes is finished. It's on the water. It's so if you place your pre-order now, you'll get delivery within 7 to 8 weeks. So the second week of December. Wave 1 is only 400 units. So we managed to squeeze 400 units out the factory this side of Christmas. Second wave will be coming in February 2026. But the poster is only available if you pre-order. If you wait to get it on Amazon later in the year, you won't be getting the poster. But the good news is, as I said, it's manufactured, it's finished QC, it's on the water, it's on its way.
Beautiful.
So, really quickly, Carl, you guys got to see this if you've never seen it before. Carl has this awesome diorama there behind him for his mini arcades. Carl, those posters and lights have got to be right up your alley. You got to think that's pretty cool, right, dude? Carl, did you hear me?
Oh yeah. I love
That does look
I love
cool.
the
But
idea of that.
that's awesome. I love that.
Thanks. Oh yeah, the posters is cool. I'm just curious, like now if these things are, I know right now they're only as a bonus, but if these things, if the fans demand those, would you be interested in making additional posters down the line for other titles?
But potentially we would never release those posters again.
Right.
They'll be exclusive. So that Bad Dudes poster or whatever we do will be an exclusive. We'll never bring those out. But if the demand's there, it's something we might look in the future of doing them as different.
Because you already got
posters
the
with
tooling
different
to
sets. Yeah,
the widgets.
yeah, widgets.
Well, guys, it's time to talk about a really good arcade game. I'm just kidding. Look, just because I'm not a fan of Bad Dudes does not mean it's a bad game. You know what I mean? A lot of people love it, and this looks beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, let's check out Lunar Lander, guys. We got it in-house. Beautiful, beautiful. Show us that Lunar Lander.
Well, here is Lunar Lander. It's a monster of a machine. It's this one here. I absolutely adore this machine. It is. I don't know about you guys, but I never saw a Lunar Lander as a kid in the arcade originally in the 80s. So Lunar Lander was 1979. And it was really weird. I saw it a few years back. I went to New York into a barcade, and they had a Lunar Lander, and that's the first time I'd actually ever seen a Lunar Lander, and I absolutely fell in love with it because of the thruster. The thruster is one of the greatest arcade machines you can get, and it was really weird. I kind of looked into it. It was like they only ever produced less than 5,000 Lunar Landers. And the reason being, in 1979, they made Lunar Lander, and a few months later, they released another game called Asteroids. And Asteroids was phenomenal, as we all know. It's suck eggs on Asteroids, one of the biggest video games of all time. So what they did is Asteroids used the same cab as Lunar Lander, and most Lunar Landers got converted into Asteroids because obviously that's where people were putting the money in and everything like that. So that's one of the reasons I never saw a Lunar Lander until I'd come to the States. But when I played it, and I've got Lunar Lander on my iPad. You can get it on Atari's Greatest Hits, and I know other arcade people have manufactured Lunar Lander. But without that thruster, you would have never played Lunar Lander. Lunar Lander is all about that thruster, and so on my iPad when I play it, or other machines, and you've got a dial and stuff. And that was the one thing we wanted to do, was get that thruster right. And Ben was saying, so this is an analog thruster. This is the same as the original. This thruster is as close to the original as you can get, and it completely changes the game. What I love about arcades is the stories. So when Lunar Lander came out, NASA bought some versions of Lunar Lander and they actually astronaut cadets at NASA used Lunar Lander to practice thrust control. And I love that. I love that there was astronauts in space that learned how to do thrust control by playing Lunar Lander. I mean,
funny.
It's just insane, but it is so brilliant. And the other thing I love about Lunar Lander is, which I never realised until I've had a prototype of this for quite a while, playing it, and I take it home and play it. It's one of my favourite games. Is they never put any music on Lunar Lander. And the reason they did that was they wanted you to feel alone, that it's just you in this capsule, and all you can hear when you're playing it is this thrust noise. And I never realised that. So when I'm in Barcade and stuff, you've got Pac-Man and other machines behind you, but it really is. All you can hear is it's just you in a capsule trying to land on the moon in this. The other thing I realised as well, it's the first ever vector game. So Lunar Lander is the first vector game that was ever created. So from that,
Wow.
Tempest, Star Wars, Battlezone, Red Baron. The number one, the first game ever to do it, is Lunar Lander, and it used real gaming physics. I mean, if you've played it, or if you do play it and you play it on hard mode, it is really difficult. It is a really difficult game. It's
Let's
it's
hold that up
really
a little bit
unique.
more.
And I think it's one of those I wanted to keep and restore and bring out, not because it was the most popular game I've ever done, but I think it's just so unique that it deserves to be kept. And I love the thought that a lot of people will play this and they will never have played Lunar Lander with a thruster before. It's a really special game and really unique to gaming kind of history, what it did. So yes, and it looks stunning, and I'm a sucker for an Atari volcano button as well, which this has got 5 of.
Yeah, Matt, can you do us a favor? Can you hold that up and just show that off a little bit more? Kind of like maybe, that looks
it's
really
hard to
nice.
kind of get but it's spring loaded. It's got the proper. We really wanted to get so when you're doing the thruster, it's got tension on it as well.
Nice.
You know, you really feel it is. As I say, we went to Arcade Club in Manchester and we took this and we put it on the original, and we got this to feel as close to the original as possible, because Lunar Lander is all about the thruster. That's what makes the game amazing. And I must admit, I think this is one of the best we've done, just because it's as accurate as the original and plays exactly the same. But yeah, it's the first ever vector game.
For the arcade history alone and the look, I mean, it's so iconic. Such a great job. Like, everybody is losing their mind over it. They're like, that is a piece of arcade history, and that's what you put forward 100%. There. So I know production on that probably wasn't great, but before you tell us a little bit about that, I'm just excited that P-Dubs could probably get his hands on this. It's been a while since he's done any thrusting.
Oh man,
it was worth it.
Nostalgia. We can't even hold a professional sponsored broadcast without Michael's innuendo.
It was good.
Literally not even good. For 1 week.
Not even 1 week.
Not 1 week.
1 week.
From what I understand, his thrusting didn't feel good, according to his wife. So I'm glad you're providing a better experience.
All right, we're gonna have to, guys. We have applications open for new co-hosts of Super Game Room Dudes. But before we do that, real quick, just like Bad Dudes, if you buy Lunar Lander, if you pre-order it, and again, these are on the boats now too, right, Ben?
Yeah, correct. Yep, they're on the boats. Yep. So
they'll be here in a month or two. They're doing the same thing. You get the bonus poster with the bonus poster light, and I think Matt has it to show off. If you want,
I do.
You want to take a look at this, guys?
It never looks as good as that picture. We should just give that picture up. But yeah, again with
look at that.
Lunar Lander, again, just great artwork, and it goes back to this. I love the artwork on Lunar Lander. So we've taken this from the marquee and the original Atari artwork, and
let's see that again. There you go.
And done this here. So yeah,
very cool.
And Matt, I did want to add, you are absolutely correct about the thruster. I mean, I've played Lunar Lander in many different ways with buttons, and it's nothing like that thruster. The control that you have, the precision that you have with that versus hitting a button, releasing the button, trying to emulate that.
Just not the same
no comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If you've never done it, it just completely changes the game. There's a lot of versions of Lunar Lander there, but no, I don't know. Has anyone ever done the Thruster version? I've never seen it.
I don't think anyone in this space has done that
Yeah.
Thruster version.
But it's just.
But I think Glenn's retro show is working.
Glenn did a replica of it, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's also working on it for his large arcade cabinet that he's got coming out as well, because he's doing like modular control panels as well.
Yeah.
So, but it hasn't been released yet. So you might be the first in this little, space of like 7 or 8 companies that kind of make this stuff. So until that comes out, but very cool. These products are available now. They're on the boat. You can pre-order them, and hopefully they'll be here in a month or two, pending any delays on the water. Go ahead.
So, Matt, you said it shares the same cab as Asteroids. That's interesting.
Did I?
Yeah. Wait, was that a hint?
We're dropping Easter eggs all over the place.
And
Loose
by the
lips
way,
Grant strikes again.
And I owe Nooner. I owe Nooner a couple here because so Nooner, I know you've been watching all show, buddy. What about this?
Great game.
Fantastic. I love Red Baron. It's basically Star Wars with biplanes, isn't it? The artwork on the side, the red panels. Love Red Baron. I can't remember, what did he share the cab with? But I can't remember. Anyway, so
Lunar Lander, maybe?
yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game.
I mean, any company with the balls to release Red Baron, that's bonkers.
That'd be crazy, right?
Hey, that sounds like a dare.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, this he asked this at the very beginning of the show. I've had this pinned and held for a while. Have you guys ever considered about doing kind of like those weathered looking arcade machines, like some of my machines?
The battle damage sort of.
Yeah. Have you guys ever thought about that? A lot of New Wave Toys did it. A lot of people love those. Yeah, what do you think, man?
Did New Wave Toys do it with a gum? Did they have gum stuck to it?
They had gum you could stick to it. Shiloh's a big wrestling fan, so he called it the Survivor Series line. So if you guys do a bunch of battered and weathered cabs, you'd have to call them the WrestleMania line or Royal Rumble line or something.
Yeah, what I remember about the arcades wasn't the gum; it was the cigarette bags.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you used to have the ashtrays up on top of the machines.
Well, you just rested your cigarette on the control panel, and you forgot about it because you were playing the game and it bent along. So, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be against it because it's weird when you do the arcades. We're doing them like this pristine, but my arcades I played didn't look like this. They had cigarette burns, and you can see the bit where people put their hands. There was always a bit of the artwork rubbed off on the corners and things like that. So yeah, I would definitely not rule it out because it's a great part of arcades. Yeah.
So, hey guys, so you said these are going to ship in time for the holidays?
Yeah. So it's on the water, depending upon where. I think the US stock arrives first and the UK stock arrives second, but it's scheduled to dock and be out between the first or second week of December for both Bad Dudes and Lunar Lander.
Yeah, I know some folks asked to see gameplay. Unfortunately, Ben and Matt are the only ones who have these right now in their possession, and I don't know if they'd be able to set that up for us right now. So
yeah, I can. I think we tried this before because of the screen and stuff. It just reflects back. I don't think you can kind of see anything. I think have we got gameplay on the videos on Quarter Arcades? We should have.
No, but we are sending Bad Dudes to P-Dubs to review for us because
don't send me Bad Dudes. Don't send me Bad Dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't send me Bad Dudes. I'm just kidding. Send it to Mikey. Mikey will take care of it. All right. Well, we got. It's time for our first surprise, guys. So there was another product that was announced previously that a lot of people have been waiting on updates from Quarter Arcade. So this is a previously announced product. We have some updates for you, as well as possibly the real thing in house, and it's going to be this little guy here as well, and a very interesting story that Ben was telling me. And Ben, do you kind of want to tell the story before we show off the prototype? Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I think Matt's probably best to tell this story.
Okay, however you want to do
He's
it.
the one that lived the pain. I didn't live the pain. I signed.
Yeah,
I
it's
signed the
true. It's
contracts.
true. So I think anyone that follows Court Arcades knows the pain we've had in the past, especially with Space Invaders. We've literally been in tears over Space Invaders with the Peppered Ghost effect, and I think Ben said we're on our third factory. The reason being the other two factories couldn't do Space Invaders. The factory we've got now is amazing, and that's how we brought Space Invaders out. So. With the design team, sometimes you go, okay, we bring out these machines and they go, right, okay, can we just have a quick win? Can we have a dynamo cab with just 2 joysticks and a screen? Normal arcades that are easy to do. So when we came up with Pong, I went, right, guys, this is. There's not many cabs that are older than me, literally a handful. But 1972, which is just older than me. Yeah, it is Pong. I went, guys, look at the game. It's Pong. It's the most simple game you could ever make. So we're like, fine, we're making this. Until we dug into it, which we don't do enough of. But then again, I think that's kind of nice because the naivety of it is what done. Pong, when it was made, 1972. It didn't have a CPU. It was 70 chips hardwired to a board. So what we do with all our arcades is we use the original ROMs. We've got our own emulator, and we put the original ROMs through our emulator, and that's how it plays. There is no ROM. There is no software for Pong. It doesn't exist. It was never made because there's no software, there's no CPU. So it was just hardwired to a board. So yeah, that is a new challenge. Every machine we make has a new challenge. This was the hardest challenge, that there is no software. It just not exist. So we've had to create Pong again from scratch.
You have to create Pong from scratch. That's what
sounds easy.
I love this story. You can't just drag and drop a ROM, guys. There's no
ROM.
ROM.
We're not making this in an Unreal Engine. It's insane. But then it's not even recreating it. You've got to recreate it exactly as the original.
Yeah. And speaking of that, don't you have a little something to show everybody?
I do have.
Let's give a nice good look at this.
Here. Actually, it's just
there
loading
it is.
Up there, as you can see. It's. I could talk about Pong all day. It's one of those, when we put this out there, this is Marmite, as in, I don't know, that's a UK saying, as in, people loved it or hated it. 1972, and I'll tell you why everyone should buy a Pong, is because, I never saw Pong in the arcades when I was in the arcades. Pong had been and done. It was all Pac-Mans and those machines. But what people got to remember about Pong is it wasn't the first video arcade ever created, but it was the first successful arcade ever created, but the commercial. So I think in the first ever commercial arcade was Computer Space in 71, but commercially it was a disaster. It was so difficult to play, the controls and everything. So in 72, Alan Alcorn produced this. Now, what I love about Pong is, they never made it to sell. It was a test done for the Atari guys to just test out how things work. So that's where they made it. So they made Pong. But Nolan Bushnell and that said, we've got a pub, a tavern down the road. We're going to stick it in there and see how it does. So they stuck it in this tavern, and a week later, the landlord of the tavern rang him up and said, "You need to come and get this game. It's broken." And when they went in, the game wasn't broken. It was the coin mechanism was so full of coins that it had jammed. And it must have just been the most light bulb moment in the world when they realised, "Oh my God, we've got something here." You know what I mean? It's just that. This is the first commercial video game ever. Whatever game you're playing now, this started it. This is the number one game. Alan Alcorn created this, and this is, if there was a Hall of Fame of arcades, this is the first one that's going in. because it is the original arcade game, and it's beautiful. And what I love about it as well, even the cabinet, it wasn't designed by anyone. They cobbled it together in Atari and put it in. And this is what I love about it. It's so unique. And what makes this? I've got this mirror thing on, so I have to go this side. What makes this so unique is it's got no artwork or anything. And the reason for that is the reason people put artwork on sides of arcades was to make it stand out from the other arcades. There wasn't another arcade. There was just one. It was just this. It would have sat next to a pinball machine, or it would have just sat next to nothing. This is the original machine. And I think Alan Alcorn, who created this, is classed as one of the most influential people in video game history. I think he made this, and then he went on and made Breakout. Mm-hmm. So when he made Breakout, he hired two engineers to help him make it. Those engineers were called Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak.
Oh, wow.
And they made Breakout with him. He hired them. You know what I mean? I don't know where those guys are now. I think they just faded away. Al Alcorn's still a genius, but I can't get enough. I just think there's nothing like this, because no other game would have done this. And the look of it, it's a simple game, but that's why it was successful. You put Pong on. If you've never seen a video game before, you can play Pong in 3 seconds.
Right.
And so we've created, and the metal, and the dials we've done on this, I know it's hard to see here, but these are the metal dials, the originals. We've got the original names and the brands and everything on there. This is video game history. Everything that, we're all in this. I don't care. We had guys playing this in the office. I mean, these guys are in the 20s, and they go, "Oh, this is cool." And then they're going home and playing Battlefield. I'm like, do you not realize Battlefield came from this? Everything you play came from
Everything
this.
came from
Everything came from this. And I think it's such a piece of history. It's number one, isn't it? You know what I mean? Those games. They were making digital video games in the 50s, but commercial games. This is it.
I love MG. He's always making jokes in our chat, but you think he would have done more research about Pong before coming on here? I know. We just got a history lesson, and it was beautiful.
Can you believe that I've actually got a wife? That's what people say. He doesn't live in a bedsit.
I do want to give you really quickly. I want to give you guys credit, because a lot of people have worked with Atari to bring Pong out, and usually when they do, it's always got some kind of weird design, or they're trying to modernize it to make it hip, to make it cool. And I think these companies forget sometimes that if they don't sell their product with nostalgia, nobody's really going to give a shit about it. And I love the fact that you haven't tried to create something else here. You've went back and warts and all this, beautiful but somehow hideous machine that's so iconic and so important. You've recreated it one for one. And I think that's what all of us have always dreamed of when it comes to having a Pong machine. So, awesome job.
Well, 100%. It was weird when I was working with the factory. They originally then, we're going to put holes in the front because for the sound to come out. I went, no. They went, well, if you don't do that, the sound will be muffled. And I went, yes, because inside that cabinet originally was had a Tachi TV that they bought from Walmart and stuck in. It was a 13-inch black and white TV. And it had no speakers. It was muffled. That's what it sounded like. And I went, but it won't sound as good. I went, no, it'll sound exactly like it did in 1972. And that's the point of it. It's so easy. Even when the guys were recreating Pong, they went, we can make it faster. No, make it bad. Make it as bad as it was in 1972, because it's absolutely history. I know I'm a bit of a nerd about this, but I think if you're into video games, this was it. This is number one. This is the first.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys are going to do this, the way you've done it is the way to do it.
Yeah, it's the only way
authentic,
to do it with Pong. I mean, it's weird. So a Pong, I think they only originally sold something like 5,000 units between 72, 74. But it's the most cloned, copied game of all time. There must be 1 million Pong games out there.
Meatball Colony a nerd.
Yeah, you see.
Well,
that's what
I love
that's what I get.
the best part about
the ladies in the pub with this kind of banter.
So I'm gonna pitch this over to Ben real quick because the best part was when we all met up to plan out this episode for you guys. And by the way, this episode's going great in my opinion. Do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. Big shout out to Ben and Matt. You guys are bringing it tonight. When we met up to talk about this, behind the scenes, you were telling us you're like, oh, okay, we figured Pong would be easy, and it's become even more difficult to bring to the market than Space Invaders because you guys have to recreate it from scratch and also do your best to make sure it matches the original experience. And because of that, we're looking at a 2026 release, right, Ben? Is that what's going on?
Yes. So I think Matt got that final prototype on Monday.
Yeah.
So we're just giving feedback to the factory. There's still a couple of minor tweaks. Then we'll go into tooling. So I think we'll release that product Q3 2026. Pricing TBC because we don't know what's going to happen with tariffs between now and then. But be rest assured, we continue working behind the scenes, and when it's ready to be announced, we'll launch the pre-order. You can go on quarterarcades.com now and register your interest for Pong.
So given the complexity of that, recreating the ROM or the building the game, the controls, that's obviously going to affect the pricing in some way, regardless of the tariffs, I would imagine.
The only thing I'd say about Pong is, and as much it is genuinely a passion project, we can't share that cab with anything. You know, the pedometers that are inside, and and the metal buttons that we that's it. You know, Pong is an absolute one-off. It's our accountant will say it was a stupid thing to do because it cannot be used against anything else. But it is really a one-off. It's an absolute one-off with Pong. But yeah, it's everything that's tooled has been tooled. Even the screen. I say most arcades used a 19-inch or a 23-inch screen. This is 13-inch black and white TV shoved in a cabinet. So even the screen that we bought, we're never going to use that again. So yeah.
Nostalgia, all those while we get ready here because we're going to move on to the next one. Real quick, Nostalgia, all those lonely nights you spent in your college dorm playing Pong while everyone else was out partying. You got to be hyped for this, right, buddy?
I think this is actually a really, really cool addition to the lineup. I'll be honest, Pong is not my game. It's way before my generation. In fact, when I was getting into gaming, like, Pong was like so old school that you would almost be like, who wants to play that? But I definitely see its place in the market. It's gaming history. So, like I said earlier, the way that you guys are doing it is the right way. Other companies have done Pong in kind of this modern look, like Mike was saying, and I was like, that's so stupid because the game isn't like an amazing game, but having a piece that you can actually put on a desk, you can play it, and it actually represents what that game was for the era in which it came out is incredible. So I love what you guys are doing on that one.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, guys, we do have to move on to topic number 5, our next surprise. And this is something that apparently they've gotten a lot of requests for. And Matt, why don't you just hold it up and show them the next surprise?
I'm hoping I'm getting the surprise in the right order. This is
it's the one where we're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to dance.
Thank you.
Yes, the one, the rock and roll dancing. Not the other one.
So
this one.
This is it goes back to
What is this?
This is so cool.
This here. So this is a Bluetooth jukebox.
Oh, nice.
The lights are very bad in here to grow, but this is the prototype. We got this in a couple of weeks ago. It's got a Bluetooth speaker in there. We're doing this infinity mirror kind of look, which I don't know if you can see. We've still got a bit of work to do with the lights. I'd say it's a prototype, but yeah, this was just a bit of fun. We get asked for a lot because it's the same when we go to shows. We put a Bluetooth speaker on and we play 80s hits during the shows, and I think that's what people want to do. Or if I'm playing here in the office, I'll stick on Apple Music and stuff. So it's just a fun thing. It's what you would have seen in an arcade. So this is coming out. It has got all the music listings on there. I will take full responsibility for that. It's my favorite. It's mainly 80s. There's a lot of Take That and Huey Lewis and all the classics.
I know, I'm down with it, man.
So if anyone knows, look, I picked them. I've got Talking Heads on there. it's my jukebox. I can do what I like. So, but yeah, we again we've gone into the detail. You know, we've not branded it. We've kind of used a generic that's price down. But yeah, it's a great bit of fun, and it looks great when it's on the set again.
So I suspect that's going to have a little more traction than the radiator.
Ooh.
Oh.
I always get grief for the radiator on this show, but
Why? The radiator was awesome. You all hate radiators? Come on now. Look at how cute this looks.
No, this is cool. It's Radiator 2. That's what it is. No, it's we're really pleased with this. It's something we've been wanting to do for ages, to be honest. It's just one again. You know, most times we don't do a lot of research. We look at what the fans want and what we want, and we make it. So, yeah, this'll don't stop believing it'll start conflict. Yes, that's on there. Of course, it's on there. Yes. So you'll probably tell my music taste when you see this, but yeah, it's very 80s. Well, so what we're looking on this one, Ben. So we're pretty pleased with it. So I think we've got a few tweaks as we always do.
Yeah. So this one should come. Yeah, Q2 2026. So we're about to start tooling on that. Obviously, there's no licensing, so it comes out a lot quicker. So yeah, head over to quarterarcades.com. You can register your interest for this one.
We always talk about these accessories that go so well with the home arcade space for these companies to make. Like, we just got a claw machine from Arcade 1-Up, and New Wave Toys did a jukebox. But it just fascinates me that nobody fast-tracked the idea of doing one of these jukeboxes. I know there's been like one that came out in Walmart that was like a third-party brand, but it was ridiculous. It fascinates me that no other company has jumped on this idea sooner, and kudos to you. Like, this is 100% 80s nostalgia to the max that people can take, put in their area, and just relive that moment. It would be nice if say for example you did this on Kickstarter, that people got to choose their favorite music to put in the jukebox, but I guess Matt was just a little selfish on that, and we'll have to
so you can choose whatever they want as long as it's from the 80s, and I've got the LP.
Yeah.
Then it's fine, you can pick. But yeah, we did look at that. Do you do it where people can put their own in? But it became so
hard. Yeah, so hard.
We got a question here. Can you add a line out, or is it just Bluetooth on this? I think
this one we've done just Bluetooth, but
just Bluetooth.
Is that a thing that would a genuine question? Would that make a difference?
Yeah, would you guys like a 3.5 millimeter out? Is that what you're asking for, MG? Is that what you're asking for? I think that's what he means.
Yeah, if you got like a stereo or something you want to connect into it or something like that.
So or line out. Typically, you're hooking up to speakers, right?
MG's wife beats him if the music and sound is too loud in his house, so he's gonna have to put speakers,
he needs
headphones into this.
No, that defeats the whole purpose.
Cool. Ben, I know you're excited about this, right, buddy?
Yeah, although it's not got my soundtracks on it, I'm not allowed.
No, it's not. It wouldn't sell. It would hinder sales.
You guys should have done two versions, a Ben version and a Matt version, and then gone head to head and see who actually sold more.
Now, what would be nice with that is to couple with an app, and have the app kind of, emulate a jukebox, and people can put in their own songs.
Yeah, because apps don't cost anything. They're just simple to make.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm glad you guys are actually doing like a legitimate speaker system rather than just doing like a USB hub or something along those lines. It's nice because it's good for what the product is, but it's nice to have something that's very different than what a lot of other products that have been released are.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Well, guys, we are moving right along, and I got a couple. We have the big surprise coming up next, and before we get to the big surprise, we do have a couple of really quick questions from the viewers in the audience. John J. asked a little bit ago, are you guys ever thinking about re-releasing Space Invaders again? I think there's some still available on Amazon, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got stock on quarterarcades.com. It's available on amazon.com, so we're not going back into remanufacturing until that's sold through.
Okay. And Nooner asked, great question, have you guys ever thought about doing quarter-scale cocktail cabinet recreations?
Yes.
And will you guarantee that those are being released right now? Is that what you're saying?
They're coming out pre-Christmas now. I would love to do them. I just think a game without going too nerd. But a lot of the times when arcades released, they were released at exactly the same time, weren't they? They brought them out. I just think they look amazing. And actually, for quarter arcades, it would really work because sitting at a desk or something, you could just both sit either side of the desk. But I'm definitely very keen. We've got nothing in the short plans, but I'm very keen to do a cocktail card.
And then another rapid fire question. Would you guys take on the challenge of doing Sinistar with the proper controls? Great question by C Smart, the center tainter.
It's a great cab. It was a great cab. It's who owns that now?
Williams. Midway. Warner Brothers.
Is that Midway? Would that go under the okay. It would definitely. I've always talked about. I've got a 100 list of arcades, and it's on there.
Mm-hmm. And then our last rapid fire question: have you guys ever thought about doing quarter scale pinballs? Meatball Saucy, one of our favorites.
Yes. We.
I just want to point out that every time these questions are asked, the smile gets bigger.
I was just gonna say Ben's smile is creeping closer to his ears.
Ben, you are the worst poker player in the world, Ben. I want to play poker against you for all your money because I think he's giving it away. Go ahead, answer. Go ahead.
Broken man.
No, it's well. The short answer is so we 3D printed a quarter size pinball machine, and it doesn't work. The physics don't work. The same reason why Black Hole's not playable. It just doesn't work. It's not possible at that scale. The only way you could, and it would be rubbish. It wouldn't be a replica. It's not like Lunar Lander, and you go, well, it's exactly. Adam's Family plays exactly the same on quarter scale. It wouldn't. Yep. It just doesn't play. It's just the ball's not heavy enough. It just doesn't play. So the only way you could do it is with the screen. Right. And then you're going into, is that pinball or not? I don't know. I'm not the biggest pinball fan. I know Ben loves Adam's Family. That's why I mentioned it. It's his favourite. But if we did it, it would be a screen because you just couldn't replicate it at that scale. Simple as that.
Okay.
And we did try, and if it would have worked, we would have made it.
I think that's a good one to reach out for the community for. I know New Wave Toys have their interest in doing it. I think there's a lot of interest in a quarter scale V-pin, but you got to ask yourself the question, like, do you want to do that? Is that something your fans would support? So that could be some feedback you get from the audience directly.
It also takes a lot of grunt as well, doesn't it? So to run these screens, it takes a big processor, which means that the price will be $400-500, and then
it's a big screen. It's a big screen. Yeah, it wouldn't be cheap. I mean, I know pinball's huge. There's that chap we follow on YouTube who's Sloan, someone who he does quarter scale, and they're amazing.
Steve Sloan.
But the difference between making one of those and people go, oh, that's fantastic, and manufacturing that at a price people would pay is completely different.
I know.
It would be a lot more money than a quarter arcade.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a few more topics left, guys. We're going to talk about the Arcade Decades book. We're going to talk about Star Wars, Simpsons, and Nintendo. You definitely want to stick around for that conversation. But since you guys are here now, been a great audience, it's time for our mega surprise. And let's check out what is coming soon from Quarter Arcades, guys. What do we do? What do we do? Here it is right here. Sorry, guys. Oh boy, Battlezone coming soon. I know Ben and Matt are very excited about this one. Tell us the story, guys.
Yeah, so again, it goes back to, we like to make easy machines, so why not make a machine with a periscope in quarter scale? And the thing I don't know how many people know of Battlezone is it's also ghost peppered as well. So it's Space Invaders with a periscope, with a black light.
Are you just trying to make your lives as difficult as
Yeah,
possible making these machines?
It really is. It's just like, for God's sakes, just bring out a joystick game, for crying out loud. So it was a game that I've always wanted to do. Again, it's a passion project. 1980 Battlezone. We got asked for it a lot, and everyone's going, "Well, you can't make it because of the periscope." And we went to the pub and we went, "Could we make it?" It was a bit of a challenge sort of thing because it is so iconic. So it's an incredible machine. I'll go full nerd again. Probably get viewers turning off. But Battlezone is the first ever first-person shooter, the first ever one that was ever created. So it was the first FPS game. So all those first-person shooters, Battlezone was the first game ever to do it. Vector game, bit like Lunar Lander, but it's Lunar Lander was amazing. Lunar Lander's it's frustrating, but this was 1980. This game's insane, absolutely insane. And what I will do now, rather than talking about it, but yeah, it's I've got it here. So this is how far. As I say, we've not been quiet and we've been doing stuff. So I'll show you it here. It is absolutely incredible. This is. You can see through there with the ghost peppered effect. It's huge. I can't even get it on the screen. I'm going to have to stand up. 18.5 inches. It's the tallest machine we've ever done. If you think a Pac-Man's about 17 inches, this is 18.5.
That looks so awesome.
Mammoth of a controller. So the challenge we had with this was the periscope. So as great as it is and as beautiful as it is, it's getting your face in there is an impossibility. So what we decided to do, we'll pull this off here with magnets. See, they're good magnets, but just magnets. You pull that off and you put on. So they brought out versions with just the full screen on here. You probably can't see that on the screen properly, but fully playable, and the step as well. So the version came with the step for the periscope that just pulls off. It's a magnet, just attaches on there. And someone's just put there about the Bradley trainer. So that's a really nerd one. So Ed Rotberg, who designed this, they actually designed a version for the military to train tank drivers. There was only ever two made, and it was made in the 80s, and they actually used a yoke to control it, which sadly they then ended up using on Star Wars, and that everyone knows. But yeah, the military, they made a version for the military on there as well. Only one exists. Someone's got it in a private collection. I've never seen it, but. So the idea with this is, so what we're going to do with Battlezone, this is really good. So this is our first sample, and this just goes to show how far our factories come on. This is prototype number one. This is a handmade sample, and it's the best handmade sample we've ever had. It's really close. There's a few bits on it. So for any eagle-eyed ones on there, the joysticks are slightly bigger than the originals. We've been working on that. It's to do with the screws and the wires that need to go through, and we've managed to get these down to original size. So these will be slightly smaller than these, but this was the original prototype I got last week on there. But what we're going to do with this machine is, so we're going to sell it with the screen, this screen on there, and then we're going to sell the step and the periscope separate, and the reason for doing that is not to make more money, was to reduce the cost of Battlezone, and then if anyone wants to buy these, and we will do a bundle, so if people want to buy it with it, we'll do a reduced price for the bundle. But if people just want to go, look, I just want to play Battlezone, I'm not bothered about the periscope, then you can just buy that. But then we'll sell these separate for the fans who want this on the shelf with the periscope and the magnetic step on there as well. So it was just a way that we could hopefully reduce the costs and give people options, on there as well. But yeah, we will do a bundle at a cheaper price for those fans that want it. But it's an amazing machine.
Man,
And I think it was
I mean,
just-
this is the game cabinet I'm most excited about. I've played hours and hours of Battlezone. When I got my AOU, I'm trying to emulate it, but then you got to take your hands off to hit the button, which was a pain. So I got Glenn's, trigger so you can actually shoot. I mean, but this game is tough to emulate. To do it this way is the only way to do it, and I think it's fantastic to make it absolutely playable, to make it authentic. If you wanted to, these are showpieces and playable arcades, right? So I think that's brilliant to have the magnets to be able to. When I wanted to have the showpiece, it looks identical to where I've seen it at the arcades, but when I want to actually play it, swap it out.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Um,
This game is. I almost cream my pants here just thinking about it.
You see, I'm going to put that. When they do movie quotes.
Detroit Love creamed his pants.
YouTuber Detroit Love creamed his pants.
That's the selling. But that's the thing about core arcades. It has to look like the original, but it's also got to be fully playable and play as well as the original. So it does use the ghost pepper because we don't cheat. We're not putting a screen in the back, which would have been so much easier. And it's got the cardboard cut out sides and the radar at the top, and it's an absolute piece of art. This it is absolutely fantastic, and as I say, there's something about vector games that don't date,
right,
because the graphics don't get old. I mean, it's like, so you had Star Wars, Lunar Lander, Red Baron, Battlezone. They don't date because it's just the style of lines. It's just this looks as good. I'm amazed there wasn't more vector games done.
Vector is the shit. Hard to maintain though, very hard.
Yeah.
So,
Star Trek wasn't my game at all. Battlezone is what I played hours. I never really played Star Trek until Star Wars until I bought this thing here from Arcade One Up. But Battlezone, man, hours.
Nostalgia, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. Let's get this done real quick. Nostalgia.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, man. This one's got your name all over it.
From Jason Lillian, buddy, $10 super chat. At the risk of being rude, shut up and take my money has never been more appropriately used. Cream, check. Pants, check. Laughing emoji. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Now, don't take Jason too literal on that. He usually doesn't wear pants when he watches us.
Yeah. Who does, though?
Now, Ben, you just announced this awesome one of the it's going to be probably one of your best products ever. This Battlezone. The question is when's it going to come out?
So yeah, the prototype, as Matt said, has come out really, really well. The first one,
good.
you normally have to take 2 or 3 attempts at it. So we're actually really pleased we're ahead of the curve on this one. So I think we are going to start tooling very shortly, and it should be released in Q3 2026. If you head over to quarterarcades.com, you can register your interest. You can see it there, Battlezone, Pong, or the arcade book, and be the first to know when pre-orders go live.
Yeah, I like the fact that you added that to your website. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, you can't put your fist around those controls. I'm just curious how that's going to work there.
Yeah, I must admit. So the one thing we had to do. So you're absolutely right. So again, we 3D planned. So the one thing that we did do, the gap between the joysticks is slightly wider than the original, but we did that so that your fingers fit around it. This plays as well as the original. Yeah, because the buttons are on the top as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can play this as well as the original. That's one of the things we do. If you can't play it, there's another joystick game we're dying to do, but we're having problems making the trigger playable without oversizing it to a ridiculous level, and getting the light to make it shine blue. But it's it's got to be playable. I've said nothing. I've said nothing. But
too much.
there's certain games if we can't make it look like the original and we can't make it fully playable and get the same experience, then we don't make it.
I'm just literally so happy you guys did Battlezone. Like when you first showed us this in the pre meeting we did there a couple weeks ago, like my thoughts immediately went to Detroit Love, because I've heard him talk so much about getting his hands on these games. And Carl, I'm so happy for you, dude. This is awesome. Like hopefully a really good playable version of Battlezone finally that you can have in your home, man.
Carl brings up Battlezones like frequently for years since I've known him. It's very consistent. That's the one game he brings up the most, I think.
Sometimes when it doesn't even make sense to come into the conversation.
And the controls, I mean, you got to get the controls right. It doesn't make sense if you can't play this thing the way it's designed to be. It's a very frustrating game at that point in time.
100%, and it was such a fantastic cab, and I just hope we can use it again on something else.
Right, and I just put that up there. And someone mentioned this earlier, Tony. Red Baron's only a step away, right?
Man, to have the balls to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Look at Ben. He's covered his mouth again. He's giving it away. Worst poker face, guys. Worst poker face. All right. We've already at 90 minutes. These guys, it's like 3 or 4 o'clock a.m. their time right now. So let's get through our final 2 topics. Make sure you guys stick around for this, because now we're going to be talking about Star Wars, Simpsons, and Nintendo. Ben said he wanted to touch on these in regards to Quarter Arcades. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so I think Matt touched it before. So Quarter Arcades, the reason we do it as a business, it doesn't make much financial sense to do it. People will say you're crazy. I think we are crazy. But Matt wants them. So Matt's my business partner. He loves arcades. I think that's come across loud and clear tonight. And he's got a list of products that he wants to do. Number one on that list is Star Wars. That's the dream. We're desperate. Want to do the Yoke. We want to do Star Wars. We want to do Return of the Jedi. He actually wants to do the sit-down versions as well.
100%.
So we are in discussions with Disney, as we have been for a while, and desperate to try and bring that one out. That is the number one cabinet on our wish list, on our hit list, that we want to bring to market. I think the last time I came on the show, we said that we actually made a prototype of it. So, that's the first one. I don't know, Matt, do you want to say anything else about Star Wars?
It's a bit like when we talk about Robotron and everything. I think it's most people's top 10 would have Star Wars on there. And if we do it, yes, I would be bringing out the cockpit version. You can pull the back off and stuff like that. But and obviously Empire, and then the Jedi version. But it's my number one. It's the one we're going to make before. At some point.
So obviously the cockpit would be magnetic, similar to the
and it would work. We do. The great thing is, so where I am, I've got the design team and the 3D printers, and I just said something. Can we just 3D print a Star Wars cockpit? So we do, and it does work. That's what we do with everything. So any game we do first, we make sure it's fully playable, and it would work. But I don't think anyone would dispute a Star Wars coming out.
Well, before you answer the big Nintendo question, what about Simpsons? You wanted to give us an update on that. What's going on there?
Well, well, guys, I'm sorry. Before we move away from Star Wars, you mentioned Jedi, Return of the Jedi, and all this. All of your cabinets come with one game, so that means it's going to be multiple versions of Star Wars. I just want to.
Jedi used a different cabinet, didn't it? Jedi used, I always remember, like Major Havoc and Firefox and stuff like that were used in there. But Empire was the same cab. They literally just changed the marquee and stuff, didn't they, for it? But and people always go, well, why don't you put multiple games in it? But that's not the point of Quarter Arcades. Quarter Arcades is not about multiple games. If you want multiple games, go and there's a lot of different people that do multiple games.
Right.
This
But
is
my
got the
question was,
history.
it would be multiple versions of this cabinet that you can
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's about, for me, Empire Strikes Back or Jedi and stuff.
Awesome.
It's the artwork. It's that on your shelf. Playing them's great, and I love playing them, but it's the history and the collecting for me.
Okay, awesome. So Simpsons, another huge name.
Yeah, again, it's high on the wish list. I think it's in the top 10 that we want to do. Again, it's Fox, stroke Disney, and Konami. And the good news is that we already have the tooling. It shares the same tooling as TMNT, so we're ready to go on that. But that is on the roadmap as well, and very high on Matt's wish list.
Yeah.
And I would suggest, since you already have the tooling, and Simpsons is hard to get, nobody's done a Sunset Riders cab yet, and that is such a good game. Such a good game.
Amazing.
Yeah, because if they do that, then they're going to get Wild West Cowboys and Moo Mesa. So it's going to happen. I'm just kidding. By the way, Carl, that was a fantastic question by Carl, and it does sound like you guys are confirming you're going to stick with one game on every machine, not start doing 2 or 3 games and stuff like that. So that's a great question, Carl. So, okay. So, what about Nintendo? This is like the big fish, the holy grail that so many companies always want to reach for. What's going on there, guys?
Yes, so we're in good dialogue with Nintendo, have been for about 12 months. We put our proposal in about 2 months ago, not just on arcades, because we do lots of other products as well. We do gaming accessories. Tubs is the number 1 product in our that fuels the business.
Nostalgia's bathtub is filled with all those rubber duckies, by the way.
Yeah. So they've had our proposal. We're in constant dialogue with them. There's no sort of urgency on their part. Someone from Nintendo reached out to me. So I think last time we said with Nintendo, they have to come to you. They have to find you. We're hoping that someone at Nintendo collects quarter arcades. They have it on their desk, and maybe that they'll get it across the line. Someone at Nintendo contacted me on LinkedIn about 10 days ago and said, "I love your quarter arcades. I've got them at my desk at work."
Oh, there you go.
So we're going down that angle as well to sort of push that. So hopeful. It's a pipe dream. We hope one day Star Wars, Simpsons, Nintendo, that's in the top 10 that we want to do. And we keep trying.
Yeah. Hopefully just one day Nintendo will say yes to somebody, and work something out. So that's very, very cool.
I think the good thing about Nintendo is, Nintendo got more money than God. They're not. They don't need the cash. But that's a good thing for us, because there's a lot of arcade companies who've got much deeper pockets than us. They can put extra zeros on the end of an MG with Nintendo, or we can't.
Right.
I don't think that's what Nintendo's about. Nintendo don't care about the cash in a way, if you know what I mean. I hope they look at it and go, who could make the purest, best version? And I think if it was that, I would hope we would be up there with near the top of that list with the other arcade companies. Because if it comes down to cash, we will lose. But
So
if
guys,
it comes
if
down to
all three of
quality,
these,
I hope we've got a good shout.
yeah, if all 3 of these were to happen, Simpsons, Star Wars, Nintendo, which would excite you the most?
I mean, personally, the 12-year-old boy would love Star Wars, but I have to say, a Donkey Kong is just.
Yes.
It's like it doesn't exist.
Prints
it's more
money.
mythical than
It just
Polybius,
prints money,
you know what
Matt.
I mean? It's just.
It's going to rain money.
Absolutely. I mean, commercially,
It's definitely one of my favorite cabinets.
I mean, it's just.
I would love it.
Yeah.
And also, if you make one cab, did they do? How many did they do? Like Popeye and Donkey Kong Jr. and Mario. Oh, amazing. So our accountant would want Donkey Kong. The young lad in me wants Star Wars, but our creative director, who was a bit younger than me, was brought up in the 90s. He wants Simpsons. So it's all about your personal, what you were brought up with.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have one more topic left, guys, and then we're going to cut you loose. We're going to talk real quick about the Arcade Decades book that was on Kickstarter. And take it away, boys, whoever wants to run the show on this one, Ben or Matt.
Yeah, so we launched this book last year on Kickstarter. It's one of Matt's passion projects. Matt wants a coffee book on his desk that celebrates the 1980s era. So we launched it on Kickstarter last year. It raised over $100,000 with about 1,200 backers. It's in production now and should be delivered to customers in January, February 2026. So it's a coffee table book celebrating the 1980s arcades. It's got a hardcover. It runs over 300 pages. It features in-depth coverage over 100 classic arcade games from the 80s. It's all original photography. We went to various arcade clubs here in the UK and had a professional photographer shoot each cabinet, and you can see some of the control buttons, the marquees, etc. So real details around the artwork. It also delves into the people, companies, innovations, and cultural context behind the arcade boom of the 1980s. We're launching it for pre-order now, so if you've missed it on Kickstarter, you can go to cornerarcades.com. And you'll get your hands on a copy in March 2026. But obviously our first priority is to fulfill Kickstarter orders, which is first. Once the Kickstarter orders are fulfilled, then other customers get their hands on it. It's going to be more expensive if you haven't backed it on Kickstarter. So this book will be $80 in the US, 100 Canadian dollars for Canadians, UK £60, euros will be 80. This is the first in a series of books because this has gone particularly well. This, as I said, this one covers the 1980s. We are already working on a second edition, which will cover the 1990s.
Nice.
And we'll launch that for nostalgia. Kickstarter Stephen will launch in March 2026 for the 1990s book. But if you want to get your hands, I've actually got a copy here.
Nostalgia's just waiting for you to get to the Pokemon era. That's all he cares
That's
about.
it.
So
That's
let's keep going. Wait. He's got the real thing. There it is.
Look at that.
It's a mammoth of a book.
Yeah. So look at the size of it. I mean, it's a
Oh.
You know, it's come out really, really well. Double page spreads on every single popular arcade. Well, we've picked 100 of the best ones that we think, Matt thinks are the best ones from the 1980s. So this is a book of love for Matt in particular, but you can see it celebrates just what the artwork of the machines are. It's a really cool, in-depth book written by Kim Justice, who is a great author. She's from the
Fantastic.
UK. She's done a phenomenal job on this. Really good. It's got all the Kickstarters names in the book as well.
Oh, so my name's in there then, huh?
Yeah, your name will be in there somewhere.
Yeah, you backed the Kickstarter too, right?
Oh,
Carl?
absolutely,
Yeah.
man. I am a fan of 80s arcades, so that's where my passion is. I was super excited when you guys launched this Kickstarter, joined that thing immediately. I know you guys had some challenges with the photographer losing their camera, laptop getting stolen, whatever the case was.
Beautiful.
I'm excited for January for this thing to come. This thing is awesome. I did receive the PDF version, which is part of the Kickstarter. So super excited, man. Can't wait to get this thing. I just got to get a coffee table again. But realistically, this thing goes along well with your quarter arcades. For a lot of you guys have these on bookshelves on display, and to have this adjacent to that, to be able to pull this out and take a look in depth to not only the ones that you guys make available, the ones that you guys have yet to do. This is a awesome project.
Yeah.
Is there any chance it'll end up in bookstores, or is it just going to be on your guys' website?
So initially, wave 1, so Kickstarter going to get their books first. Wave 2, if you pre-order on cornerarcades.com, you're the next. And then wave 3, it will be available on Amazon. Carl, you said you backed it. Is your name under C for Carl or C for Cream Pants?
Yes.
These guys are great.
That
was
caught
great.
me completely off guard.
That was awesome. Wow, very, very cool. Very you guys got a lot of good things cooking. You got you got a lot of irons and a lot of fires, but it sounds like things are progressing, and really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on our broadcast and show some of these things live and do these reveals. Big shout out to our moderators for every time we shared a product, they were sharing the links in the live chat, helping us out. We have the best moderators in the business. We have the best viewers in the business. Thanks so much, guys. And any
really
final
quickly,
thoughts?
really,
Yeah, go
really
ahead.
quickly. Thank you, Jason, for sharing the links. MG, I'm not really sure what you did, but you're a moderator too. So thank you, Jason, and do better, MG.
MG is sure there was levity in the live chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
MG was pretty much carrying the show this week.
Yes.
That's what it
Any
was, so.
final thoughts, Ben or Matt? Any special messages you want to tell folks, guys? Make sure you go to quarterarcades.com, register your interest in their products, and get your orders in for Lunar Lander and Bad Dudes if you want. Those are available now. Go ahead, guys. Any final thoughts?
Just to say thank you to the Quarter Arcades community. There's been a lot of people that have backed us since day one. Obviously, your support and your custom allows us to continue development and bring a lot of the wish list arcades to life. So yeah, I genuinely, sincerely appreciate everyone's support on every single order that's placed. It goes a long way to helping us continue and try and bring arcades history to life.
What about you, Matt? Speech?
What I want to say is,
That's saying sleep.
yeah,
Hey, I'm trying to get these guys out of here. I'm trying to get them out of here. Go ahead.
What we always try and do is be transparent and be honest with people. We if we've got bad news, if something's delayed, or if something's not going to come in, or we always try and just let everyone know. And I hope people kind of appreciate that. We appreciate the feedback, and when we get bad feedback, we take it on board, and we try and adjust it. But we always try and be honest with everyone. And so it's great to be able to come on here and show products, and we've got more product to show, which we're not showing today, but I'm hoping that we get invited on again at some point and we can show you.
I don't know. That's up to the audience, guys. If you want them to come back, give us a 1 in the chat. If you want them to kick rocks, give us a 2. We got $20 super chat from Nooners. An awesome show tonight. Thanks so much for the massive super chat. We appreciate it.
I do want to say something really quickly. One thing I truly appreciate about your company is you don't always just go with the safe bets. You can tell that this isn't just about money, because we're not getting the standard stuff we've seen time and time again. You guys do some wild and wacky shit. And me, as like one of the people that really appreciates the uniqueness of arcades and seeing all this stuff, I thank you so much for doing that and bringing some of these that we never thought we would see. Like, who in the hell thought we'd see a Battlezone? Like, it's so crazy. So thank you for being unique and going to that level of uniqueness with what you're doing through arcades.
And Ben, I know you guys got to get going here, but where's the best place for fans to get these alerts and be in the know of when you guys are making changes and announcing?
Yes, there's 2 places. Our Facebook fan group, we've got a Quarter Arcades fan group, which I know you guys are members of as well. So that's where we post the updates of what's going on. We share a lot of trivia on there and flyers and marquees. We want like-minded people to have a place to come and talk around anything arcades. Matt's a massive arcade fan. He reads every single comment. We've got Darren Brown, who's the moderator there, who's always posting stuff. So we want to try and build a community on Facebook. If Facebook's for people of our age, I think. I'm not on TikTok or Snapchat or any of that. Facebook's the place to go. Join the Facebook group, Quarter Arcades, and also on our website, quarterarcades.com. It's where you can register your interest, and you'll be getting email updates on what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, thanks so much, guys. We don't do sponsored episodes very often, and hopefully tonight's episode we did a good job doing so, and I think we did. I really enjoyed this. Thanks so much, Ben. Thanks so much, Matt. Guys, you have a great weekend. Carl, whenever you're ready, send them on their way. Let's get out of here.
Guys, we appreciate you tuning in, as always, to the Super Game Room dudes. We appreciate you. We love you. And until next time, we'll see you on the web.